What's going on, Sheer Strength Labs? It's Thomas DeLauer, and today I'm coming at you with some tips on intermittent fasting, one of the biggest crazes that is hitting the health and fitness industry right now. So intermittent fasting, as you know, is fasting for a 16-hour window and then eating during an 8-hour smaller window. But I want to give you some tips if you are fasting so you can get the most out of it. Tip number 1, first meal when you break your fast needs to be some easy to digest protein, like some kind of either whey protein isolate or a pea protein, something that's going to be easy to absorb, because what ends up happening is your gut mucosal layer breaks down a little bit during a fasting window, which means the protein that you do consume needs to be very easy to assimilate, or it's going to wreak some havoc and you're going to have a little bit of a bellyache. All right, tip number 2 to get the most out of your intermittent fasting is only eat 2 meals during your fasting window. Most people have a tendency to just graze all the time through. Well, if you eat 2 distinct meals during that 6 to 8 hour window, you're gonna have a nice rise and fall in insulin and a nice collection of glucagon that's gonna allow you to burn more fat in between those meals. You see, if you graze all the way through that 8-hour window, you're constantly secreting insulin and you're constantly stopping the fat burning effect. We need to get a nice little spike where you get the insulin response, then you burn some fat, then you get another insulin response. So just trust me on that. Eat when you break your fast, and then eat towards the end of your fast. Tip number 3 is allocating your carbohydrates towards the end of your fasting window. You see, what ends up happening when people intermittent fast is they get pretty weak and they get really hungry at the end and they kind of cave in, and when it is time to break their fast, they dive into the bowl of chips, they dive into the bad food and the bad starches, the bad carbohydrates that we don't really need at that point in time. So exercise restraint, add the fats, add the proteins at the beginning, and then towards the end of your fasting window, allocate the carbohydrates. What that's going to do is it's going to increase your levels of tryptophan, which is going to help you satiate you more, and it's also going to help your brain relax. So not only do you sleep better, but you end up having an easier time the following day during your fasting window. So there you have it, Sheer Strength Labs, 3 simple tips that you can use to get the most out of your intermittent fasting periods and actually start burning some more fat and potentially putting on a little bit of muscle to boot. I will see you in the next video.